like to welcome Stallone and the rest of the crew from Three Wise Cousins. It is a pleasure to have you on here in Samoa. Obviously, there's been a lot happening on the social media side, especially with the premiere of Three Wise Cousins in New Zealand. So it's good to have you here, as I think the whole country have been asking when will the Three Wise Cousins come to Samoa. Now that you're here, Digicel is very fortunate, and we're happy to be a partner for the premiere tomorrow, which we have made sure we invited a lot of people from Samoa to attend. We may not be able to fit everyone in the two cinemas, but I think in the rest of the week, everyone will be looking forward to coming to see the movie. So from our end, we would like to congratulate you on this great milestone and achievement you have done for Samoa. Digicel is happy to be part of it, be part of the journey, and we wish you well. I know once you finish Samoa, you're going to head on to other countries. So and good luck with future projects in the future. I'm sure everybody will be now. Everyone now knows who Stallone is, and especially the crew. And we look forward to many more projects in the future, especially in promoting Samoa, our talents, and also hopefully will open doors for the rest of other filmmakers who would like to have a career in this area. So in terms of tomorrow's program, the premiere, we're looking at having a meet and greet at 7 p.m. We've invited Father Louis to bless this activity tomorrow, and also the Honorable Prime Minister has requested that he would like to be part of the video sequence of this ceremony tomorrow. He is obviously the Minister for Tourism, and you guys have done a very good job in promoting Samoa and also the talents to the world. So I'm sure it's not something that is small in the way everybody is looking at this. So we're looking forward tomorrow, and for the rest of the country, I'm sorry we couldn't invite everyone to be part of the premiere, but after the premiere tomorrow, I think Apollo Cinema has scheduled a lot of screening of the movie. So without further ado, I would like to hand over to Stallone, because I think he's the one the media wants to talk to, and thank you very much.
Thank you. So, would you like me to talk, or I can talk? Or I'll take any questions, and then so I'll just introduce our crew. Neil Amitunai plays Adam in the film, and we obviously these two look familiar to Samoa. Pisuyai Viliamu and Vito Vito, and we have our parents. So they play Adam's parents in the film, Malalia Ioane and Maiava Taufau, who've come over here and have taken time off work. Hopefully work no if they take time off. But is any questions? I'll open it up to you guys. Do you want me to talk about the film, or?
Yeah, maybe we'll open up with the film, just talk about the film.
Cool. Yeah, so Three Wise Cousins is a self-funded film. It means that I no longer have any money in my bank because we spent it all on the film. So it's self-funded, and it's unusual for a feature-length film to, I guess, to be made in this way. Usually you need New Zealand Film Commission or a very large private investor. But for me, in order to make the film that is Three Wise Cousins in the way that it is, it had to be self-funded. I don't think I would have been able to make it this way. You know, to come to Samoa, to have these particular Samoan leads, I wouldn't have had that control. So it was about creative control, but also about proving that it could be done on your own. It wasn't an easy journey, but I knew it was possible. So once we had made our film, 80% of it is in Samoa, 20% of it is in New Zealand. One of the biggest obstacles we faced in terms of getting the film into cinemas was proving that there was an audience for it. I think after 4 weeks in release, it's easy to see that there's an audience. You know, box office has proven that a lot of, you know, not just Samoans, but Pacific Island and wider audience have come to see the film. But before that, yeah, there was just it was really hard for the exhibitors, the people who own the cinema chains, to see, or despite success of films like Sione's Wedding or The Orator, they didn't think that Three Wise Cousins had an audience. So we were just looking for that one opportunity to show the film, and then once we got that, and then that was enough to sort of open the doors right up in New Zealand. And from that, based on the numbers, how well we did in New Zealand, that's how we got into Australia. And so from here we head out into the Pacific, starting with Samoa, then we go to Papua New Guinea and Fiji, and then looking to get into American Samoa and Hawaii after that.
Speaking of self-funded, how much did it take to do the film?
In terms of cash money, about $80,000. But I put an asterisk next to that because my friends and family came on board, so they did it for free. And so my friends, they're very talented industry specialists, and so they literally gave up their time and to come to Samoa for about 2-3 weeks and just help out. So the value that they brought, and we had a really small crew in Samoa. We had about 7 people. So it was myself taking on many different hats, and then my parents took 2 weeks off work to come in, look after feed, and I know wash our underwear while we were filming. So it's possible for a very small crew, but I wouldn't recommend it for someone who's inexperienced or not used to it. It's very demanding, and there's very little room for error. So if you make any mistakes in filming, it is quite pricey.
Were you worried that the principles of being an actual Samoan might be touched and might be a little bit sensitive about the story about to portray in this movie?
I think the thing is, I always had the tradition in Samoa at heart, so it's just a matter of finding a way to, I guess, put it into a feature film that's entertaining, but at the same time without compromising it. So I wasn't too concerned, and also with our 2 sort of Samoan locals here, they knew they would know where the line is if we would cross it, but it was never about that. It was always about, I guess, for our New Zealand-born character to come and experience it. And so it would almost be against what the film was about, to sort of compromise that culture.
What has inspired you to come up with this idea to Three Wise Cousins?
I guess 2 things. Firstly, I've always wanted to make a feature film, and so coupled with that, and coupled with the fact that I wanted to sort of do something unique, something to portray Samoa, but in such a way that was entertaining. I think especially for our, I guess I would do a lot of work mentoring and tutoring work in New Zealand, and so kind of seeing that the Pacific Island youth are sort of detached, that step away, sort of distracted in New Zealand. If I had to try and teach them or show them Samoa in such a way that would get them interested, less about films, less of a destination for culture, but more of a bridge. So it's an opportunity for them, and it has, based on all the feedback, they're saying, oh, now I want to learn the culture, and that's the key. It's just to give them that opportunity to jump on the plane and come over.
How did you select the characters, especially the 2 locals, one Sin, one from New Zealand?
Yeah. So I'm part of the team that works on Fresh. So I'm one of the directors there, and so during the Mr. Lava Lava segment, which I was director for, that's where I met Vito and Fusuyai. And during that time there, I sort of realized, out of all the guys that were in that competition, these 2 were the least trouble. No. So they for me had charisma, and they for me sort of redefined the portrayal of what a Pacific Island male looks like, or was seen in the media. They were themselves, but also charismatic. They didn't conform to the usual stereotypes, but most importantly, they were hardworking. Being on TV for Fresh, especially the way we shot it, it's really demanding. Like it's a lot of pressure. Not everyone could handle it, but these 2 could, because either they weren't listening or they were just really onto it. So I didn't audition them. I just kind of knew, I was following my gut instinct that they would be good, that they would be able to bring it. And so when I offered them the role, they said yes, because I was feeding them lunch at the time. So I think they said yes. I think I'm proud of the fact that they took the opportunity. They didn't sort of become shy or let the insecurities take over. They saw an opportunity and said, okay, look, we don't know what this is about, but we're going to make the most of it. And so they did. And so they still had to work hard to get to the level of, I guess, being an actor. So my co-producer, Woham Boyd, we spent 2 weeks working with Sue and Vito. And it's hard, especially for, I know, Vito, who had to be someone who doesn't usually, know, he keeps saying his face is sore from acting, from doing all these sort of facial expressions. But they did really well. And same with Neil. I only auditioned. Neil didn't know for ages, but I only auditioned him. He thought they were like heaps of other people, but no, I just took a chance on Neil, and he did really well. I think he had to become this certain character, and it was really hard to be an actor. But also, it was Neil's first time in Samoa. It was his first time on a plane, and so, you know, the idea of Adam coming to Samoa to learn about Samoan culture was pretty much what happened for real. He had the ultimate cultural experience, and at the same time, he had to act. So that's how I picked the three. And our parents here, I feel sorry for them. Sofai here, he did a video recording at work. He just had to read a script in the locker room while everyone else was watching him. And then I just saw the video and went, yes, he had the right tone and personality for the dad. And for mum is my sister's friend's mother, who we were filming at her house, and I said, "Oh, do you want to be in the movie?" But I knew they were good. It just had to be, took a bit of work and practice. But they did amazing. You know, when you see them on screen, you'll realize that there's no faulting their performance.
You mentioned the box office. I know how much of a risk it was to spend $80,000 from your own money to bust a movie like this out. And there was a fear that it might not succeed. But now we know it's succeeded in New Zealand and Australia. Can you give us some figures of how much you made?
In New Zealand, after 4 weeks, 510,000 at the box office. So that's
510,000.
so, and in Australia, numbers need to be released. It just came out, but it's been pretty strong. I think after 3 days, we made 210,000.
Can you say you succeeded from making a movie that you absolutely had no idea was going to succeed?
I would say it's a success. I mean, commercially, but more importantly, is the reaction from the people, but the type of reaction, not just because it's a comedy, but the reaction that people have had to it. You know, it's sort of the film that if you had cousins that were playing up, you'd take them to watch it, and that will help, you know, sort of open their minds and a bit more perspective. But I think more importantly, I'm proud of the fact that the film was a success, and without having to compromise, you know, Samoan culture. You know, I could put it up on screen and it still worked. You know.
Okay, so, any more questions?
So what's next? Since this film comes out really good. So what's
everyone's asking for part 2, and everyone's giving their ideas. So I mean, it's really the people who have pushed this forward. We made it for the people, for the community, and so they're asking for another one. Because it's really easy to make. And so I think that's definitely the next step in terms of moving forward. But at least this time moving forward, I can actually pay my crew.
Usually in a Samoan type of scenario, you have a woman. Where's the woman in the...
They were really expensive though. You know what? We didn't have budget for a wider crew. Yeah. Gloria was a friend of ours, and who plays Mary in the film, who's sort of the love interest. But it literally was a budget constraint. You know, we couldn't, and in terms of the story as well, it was harder to fit in. So everything was down to the wire. So the next one, everyone wants 3 female cousins, or so that at least there's opportunities for different films to come out. Yeah.
It's aside from your movie premiere, there's a lot of noise been going around in Australia, especially between Samoans in this rap game thing. They're chucking, you know, trying to rap battle each other. Who's the best? What's your opinion on this? I mean, you guys are promoting Samoa in such a good way, and those guys go out swearing and, you know, trying to find who's the best. That's something they're absolutely not very good at.
Yeah. I heard a little bit about this. I mean, it's those sort of situations really stem from what happens in the local scene there. You know, it's not. I wouldn't say it's something that stems from being Samoan. It stems from the fact that you're in a you're trying to find your roots, your identity. You're trying to stand out, and sometimes if you don't know, let's say, the road back home, you're going to make up your own way. So I mean, yes, it's disappointing, but at the same time, it's understandable. You know, I know what it's like to be in that situation and not to really, you know, there are a lot of Samoans, Tongans, islanders around the world, and you know, if they knew what the culture was, then they wouldn't take those, you know, sort of approaches in life. So it's more a lack of knowledge and understanding.
So they don't know their culture that well?
I would say, even if they did, it's more the pressures, you know, pressures of that urban environment.
So, thank you very much.
just for the actors.
Do I need to read the microphones? No?
Ang mga po ay super. Okay. Ito si bisa kung talang ay inutulang ko lang mo away for niya na so ito siya ile tu fasi foi a malaya nga kaya ti wali ki fingan be mai ne STA promoting or tourism nga sa ito siya
Ya, foi muito fácil ya. Oh, yang mana pipi tu ya. Mana ya. Jadi foi lá sana isi foi lo lang. Mungkin mau mulai yo ka FTV jadi pretend somebody you know ya isi foi ya falou ya ya pui apa kau itu dah. But it was good. It gave me more aku yang bisa lupa fingka. Bila dia mah yang awal dulu awal. Pak umi kuah yang mau kau masak ni ya. Bulu macam. Memang. Masih mer fight dia kupe bawa.
Lalu so bisu ya itu pernah bisa kan sama ini. Ya tu era bayi tu lang oleh aku ya tu ni fama away pesa e se fa penata e ale wo mi fai una tino mai foi de alwe na foi na tano fie wo to fatsi
Kaya mafasi ole nei ata ti fa wa tele se a ma fie e se sai ti fa ta se foi a fie ai ma to ni la ma ko wa ma le ma bo ale mo ke o ke fa ma e foi de ma ngai o so e ka o ko e fo e usu to fa fine fo de ngate sa a o tu mama e to ma na to mai fo de me na tu ma tu mai usala ole aka de ma ko i ai me sa ma ko de mo ki kala mo e fo de kai no le mo le kai de se me fai mo fi pero ma ko fi o mo ni ba o fa e ma fa la video ko sa ma ko fa ma ko tu si sa mo na fa ma le ta o le nga ma le ma fa no ta ka tonu na to tele ni si fu de nga te fio mai sa mo ma fai de no me so su ye fu de ya e o la ngala ye la tu mo de se na ye fia mai e a wai to no mi tu e fa ta ye fu ye le su ma ya stalo ya fu e me fu ya mo fai fa lo lo ta le ne fa to lo la